America is many things to many people. To a 17-year-old kid, it's the malt shop on the corner. To Grandpa, it's the front porch in the cool of the evening. To Mother and her family, it's church on Sunday morning. And to Dad, it's his favorite relaxation. It's the Cracker Barrel philosophers in Crabtree Corners. And it's the tycoons in Wall Street. It's all races, creeds, and religions. It's freedom to work at the job you like. Freedom of speech and to peaceably assemble. Freedom to own property. Security from unlawful search or seizure.
Where's your warrant, Flatfoot?
The right to a speedy and public trial. Protection against cruel punishments and excessive fines. The right to vote. And to worship God in your own way. It is these freedoms that have made America strong.
Okay, so we got our freedom. But management's lousing up everything.
Labor is at fault. It's ruining the country.
My constituents, as your elected representative, I can assure you Labor's right. Management's right. I'm strictly neutral.
Labor, management, politicians, phooey. They can't tell corn from oats.
Wait,
Take the money out of my pocket.
Hurry, step right up, folks. Here's the answer to your problems. Dr. Utopia's sensational new discovery, Issum. Issum will cure any ailment of the body politic. It's terrific. It's tremendous. Once you swallow the contents of this bottle, you'll have the bountiful benefit of higher wages, shorter hours, and security. Enormous profits, no strikes. Remember, you're the big boss. Government control, no worry about votes. Name your own salary. Bigger crops, lower cost. Why, Issum even makes the weather perfect every day. And now then, because we are introducing this amazing item for the first time in this country, it isn't going to cost you 1 cent. All you have to do is sign this little scrap of paper, and you get your bottle absolutely free.
I hereby turn over to Issum Incorporated everything I have, including my freedom and the freedom of my children and my children's children, in return for which said Issum promises to take care of me forever.
Get out of the way!
Pardon me.
And who are you, my good man?
I'm John Q. Public.
Ah, my fine friend, you're just in time to share this generous and gigantic offer. Sign right here.
Mind if I read it first?
Hurry up,
Keep your shirts on, boys. No, including my freedom. Freedom? What? Sign away my freedom? Why, this is ridiculous.
Don't be corny, brother.
Sure, our system of free enterprise isn't perfect. But before we throw it away for some imported double talk, let's turn the clock back a few years to see what it's done for us. For example, back in the 1890s, Joe Dokes was just a guy who liked to tinker around his barn. Some people thought Joe was lazy. Some even thought he was nuts. But one day, he had an idea. And because he was free to dream his dream and tinker, Joe had a chance to make something of himself and his idea. So, of course, some people didn't think so much of Joe's idea. But that didn't stop him. So Joe got some money from young Aunt Minnie and Uncle Angus and Grandpappy and Mr. Titus. When Joe's friends and relatives used their savings to help him buy tools and property, they were capitalists. Don't blush, folks. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Now, naturally, Joe needed some help. So he hired Willie Lumpkin, who was out of work anyway, and before long, Willie had the know-how and became skilled labor. Because capital, management, and labor worked together, Joe's idea grew. It grew and did things even he never dreamed of. Today, the automobile industry provides millions of jobs that never existed before. And remember, this is a story of only one industry. There are thousands more scattered all over the United States whose history of development is pretty much the same. We've built a country under the American system that sends more young people to high school and college than all the rest of the world combined. Why, even in the Depression, our wages bought more food, clothing, travel, and entertainment than the wages of any other people in the world. Our country has a national income equal to the total national incomes of any other 6 nations in the world. With only 7% of the Earth's population, we drive 70% of the world's automobiles. That's just a sample of the things the capitalistic system has given us in only 160 years. Before signing up, you boys ought to try a little taste of Dr. Issum's formula to see what you'd get in exchange for your freedom. Go ahead, try it.
You can't do this to me! I'll strike!
The state forbids strikes.
Wait till the union hears about this!
Ah, yes, the Union. Welcome to our ranks, number 1313.
I'll take this case to the Supreme Court.
The state is the Supreme Court. Our decision is as follows. No more private property. No more you.
The farm folk will put a stop to this.
Farmers don't vote anymore.
What'll they do for seed next year?
You won't have to worry about next year. The state will do your planning from now on.
We must fight to regain our freedom, or everything is lost. Everything!
Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine.
When anybody preaches disunity, tries to pit one of us against the other through class warfare, race hatred, or religious intolerance, you know that person seeks to rob us of our freedom and destroy our very lives. And we know what to do about it.
And now, gentlemen, no violence, please. And don't throw those bottles. Don't throw those bottles. No! Oh, no! No! Hey! Oh, no! Hey!
Working together to produce an ever greater abundance of material and spiritual values for all. That is the secret of American prosperity.
Dieser Cartoon stammt aus dem Jahre 1948 und ja, ich weiß, der Red Scare wurde auch politisch instrumentalisiert und die USA ist bestimmt nicht perfekt in ihrer Politik. Aber es war doch eine recht anschauliche Darstellung, wie linker Kollektivismus, aka Kommunismus, funktionieren kann. Und wie bereits im Disclaimer erwähnt, rechter Kollektivismus ist nicht die Antwort auf linken Kollektivismus. Schaut man sich die verschiedenen Kollektivisten der Geschichte mal ein bisschen genauer an, wird man nämlich feststellen, dass die sich in ihrer Methodik sehr ähnlich sind, obwohl sie sich in ihrer Ideologie stark unterscheiden.
I think I read every book they had in the store, at least the major ones. And of course you start with Karl Marx, Das Kapital and Communist Manifesto. And then you go to the works of Lenin, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. He's quite a prolific writer. And then you read the stuff from Stalin, and they have study groups on it. And I was really a serious student, and I began reading all this stuff, taking notes and collecting ideas and participating in these study groups. And they tried to recruit me, and I let them think I was interested, but I really wasn't, because I thought this didn't make sense at all. But I wanted to learn. And when I went through that phase, I started to read the works of other collectivists. And I got hold of Hitler's Mein Kampf. I thought, my gosh, I just read this in Lenin. I just read this in Marx. The same thing, except in a little different language, but the principles were the same. And then later I started to read the works of, the communists in China, Mao Zedong. It's the same thing. And every place I looked, Mussolini, same thing. All of these communist, Nazi, socialist, fascist systems, once you peel off the label and look underneath, you find the same thing, the same principles.
Egal ob linker oder rechter Kollektivismus, in der Realität läuft es sowieso immer auf dasselbe hinaus, und zwar, dass eine winzige, kleine, herrschende Klasse die propagierte Gleichheit verwaltet. Tja, und wo das hinführt, kennen wir spätestens seit Orwell. Alle Tiere sind gleich, aber manche Tiere sind halt einfach gleicher.
All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others.
Und damit den Gleichen diese große Ungleichheit nicht auffällt, müssen diejenigen, die gleicher sind, dafür sorgen, dass die Gleichen glauben, dass sie noch nicht gleich sind. Man scheut keine Kosten und Mühen, um die Gleichen entlang irgendwelcher Ismen zu spalten, und das wichtigste Thema von allen bleibt undiskutiert: unser Geldsystem. Unser Geldsystem ist sogar einer der Grundbedingungen dafür, dass überhaupt Kollektivismus herrschen kann.
And the connection between that and the Federal Reserve System is that the Federal Reserve System is a kind of a creature called a central bank, which is a method of funding collectivism. Collectivism cannot be funded in any other way except through this scam that we call the Federal Reserve System, or in other countries we just call them the central bank mechanism.
Und wenn jetzt ein Klaus Schwab da hockt und von
The debt which we are loading on our shoulders
redet, dann vergisst er ganz geschickt zu erwähnen, dass die gleiche Menge an Schulden irgendwo als Guthaben bei jemandem auf dem Konto liegt.
Alles Geld, was wir im Umlauf haben, ist Schuld. Geld entsteht in unserem System, indem jemand einen Kredit aufnimmt. Nur so entsteht Geld. Das bedeutet, allem Geld steht ein Kredit gegenüber und umgekehrt. Wenn Amerika 14 Billionen US-Dollar Schulden hat, der Staat, dann hat irgendjemand anders 14 Billionen Guthaben. Wenn Deutschland 42 Milliarden Zinsen jedes Jahr zahlt, bekommt irgendjemand anders 42 Milliarden Zinsen gutgeschrieben.
Und auch wenn dieses Geldsystem sehr kompliziert erscheinen mag, man muss sich immer wieder vor Augen führen, es ist ein menschliches Konstrukt. Das heißt, es kann auch von Menschen wieder geändert werden.
Die systemischen Großbanken spielen in Wirklichkeit eine politische Rolle und keine ökonomische. Ja, also bei einer bestimmten Größenordnung von Geld, so ungefähr 1 Milliarde und darüber hinaus, hört das ökonomische System auf, ökonomisch zu sein, und ist dann nur noch ein politisches System. Denn buchungstechnisch kann ich jederzeit ausreichend viel Geld, positives Geld auch, aus Luft erzeugen. Ja. Das heißt, die Schulden aller Nationen der Welt, aller Banken und so weiter, einfach zu erschlagen mit ein paar Buchungszeilen, ist in Wirklichkeit kein Problem. Das kann man jederzeit, wenn es denn politisch gewünscht wäre.
Und genau das ist das Problem. Das ist politisch nicht gewollt, das zu ändern. Und wer könnte das jetzt ändern? Naja, eigentlich nur eine kritische Masse an aufgeklärten Bürgern. Und was muss die mitbringen? So einiges. Und das ist ein bisschen schwer, das so alles zusammenzufassen. Nur man kann sagen, ähnlich wie in einem Haus. Es ist nicht genau klar, wie viele Zimmer das Haus hat, welche Wandfarbe das haben soll, wo das genau stehen soll. Aber egal wie, es braucht ein Fundament. Und dieses Fundament ist eben genau das Wissen über die Abläufe in unserem Geldsystem. Und zum Schluss noch mal ein paar Worte an meine Genossen. Liebe Genossen, bitte schaut euch die Geschichte verschiedener marxistischer Regierungen an. Ihr diejenigen, die die Revolution mittragt, seid mitunter die Ersten, die an die Wand gestellt werden. Und wenn ihr schon dabei seid, in der Geschichte rumzukramen, achtet doch mal bitte darauf, wie oft man davon liest, dass dieses Geldsystem, so wie wir das haben, dieser Papiergeld-Hütchenspieler-Trick, den wir hier abziehen, wie eng der verwoben ist mit der kommunistischen Ideologie. Bis dahin, Like, Abo, Glocke, Daumen, Kommentar, all das gute Zeug und bis zum nächsten Mal.
And that's all, folks.